Slim bezels, waterproofing, a metal chassis, and a headphone jack. LG decided to drop the modular failure of last year and instead bring forward a brand new display to review. Hey guys, Body Pal here with Android Anthem, and this is my review of the LG G6 smartphone. The bezel shrinking wars are in full force, and LG has brought a brand new weapon into the arena. Instead of the traditional aspect ratio of 16:9, which is on 98% of all the smartphones you're used to today, the LG G6 sports a 5.7-inch Quad HD screen with a taller, but not much wider, 18:9 aspect ratio. Arguably, this modification allows the G6 to be easier to hold in just one hand while still being able to be productive. One drawback, however, is the reintroduction of the letterboxing effect. Do you remember those black bars on your TV when widescreens were starting to hit the market? Well, love them or hate them, they're back. Unfortunately, most apps aren't ready to support this new screen ratio. Without special settings, most apps are left with unused screen real estate across the top or bottom. Thankfully, LG provided those special app scaling settings, but you have to manually pick and choose which apps need the extra help to fit the screen properly. LG has worked some crazy magic to shrink those bezels. The screen takes up a delightful 78.6% of the front of the phone, which is something Apple or even Google cannot brag about. The LCD display has the always-on functionality, which reminds you of the time, date, and missed messages even when the screen is off. And LG has considerably reduced the amount of light bleed that escapes on the sides of the LCD display. By comparison, the Google Pixel or Galaxy S8 AMOLED display has absolutely zero light bleed. This is a personal preference though when shopping for phones and should always be taken into consideration. Let's not forget the additive design of the rounded corners on the display. This is merely a design decision. The rounded corners do not pose any new functionality whatsoever, but in a world of critics who state that you can only build a smartphone in so many ways, I personally welcome this innovative motif. This is the first time that I can recall that LG has ditched the option of a removable battery. I'm sure this decision was made in an effort to provide a more premium looking device, and I'd also say that it has been achieved. The front is a single pane of glass with only one break in design for the earpiece. The glass back feels better and harder than previous backs on any G series phone. However, this black version collects more fingerprints than the local police department from a downtown brawl on a late Saturday night. They're everywhere. It got a bit disgusting. If you get the black version, keep your microfiber cloth in your pocket at all times because you're going to need it. The true aluminum sides provide a clean aesthetic. The volume buttons on the sides are well placed and easy to reach as well as maneuver. The placement of the fingerprint sensor in the middle of the back falls right in line with where your finger naturally rests, and the fingerprint scanner doubles as a power button, which sounds fine in theory. Let's say all you're attempting to do is log into an app using this biometric security sensor. Several times I ended up accidentally pressing the power button and turning the screen off, rather than just simply logging into the app. The back of the G6 sports their dual camera setup. This time around, they've upped the ante by installing two 13 megapixel cameras, as opposed to one bigger and one smaller. One of the cameras is a standard lens with optical image stabilization, or OIS, and the second is a wide-angle lens, but lacks OIS, and both are supported with the dual LED flash. LG removed the option to put multiple pictures in one shot. I specifically looked for this because the V20 had a difficult time taking clear pictures with each lens and pasting them into the same photo. It appears as though LG decided to just remove the option altogether. These two rear cameras give you very different perspectives in your photos. The standard lens is what we expect. You see this view on all your major flagship phones. The wide-angle lens, however, allows a much broader perspective on life. But it's the colors that make the pictures really pop. The hint of blue to make white softer on your eyes, The extra saturation of color and the 2K resolution is what really brings the subject to life. These are just a few examples. But if you need more personal tweaking to your photos, the manual settings allow you to control the individual aspects of the camera, such as the shutter, the ISO, and even the white balance. If you need a phone that lasts you a full day and beyond, the 3300 mAh battery in the LG G6 could easily fit the demand. In my testing, the G6 lasted through the one day and well into the next before I needed to charge it again. This was tested under my normal daily usage of web surfing, social media, and games, as well as taking pictures and video. Also, the G6 supports Quick Charge 3.0, which allows it to charge up to 50% in just 30 minutes. The speaker on the G6 isn't something special to write home about. There's only one of them, and it's in the typical placement along the bottom. It's easily muffled by your palm if you turn it into landscape mode to play games. Understandably, with the increased screen on a small footprint, front-facing speakers just weren't in the stars for the G6. The good news is that there is still a headphone jack on the top of the phone. While many others are removing this option, LG has kept it, and I'm sure it's to make it easier for you to enjoy your headphones of choice. But I wish I could tell you that plugging in headphones would improve the sound quality, but I can't. Unlike the V20, LG omitted their quad hi-fi DAC, which means no high-definition sound. No matter the rhyme or reason, one downfall of the LG G6 is that it utilizes the Qualcomm Snapdragon 821 quad-core processor. You need to realize that this chip was first released in the mid to late 2016. You also need to realize that the Snapdragon 835 was announced in early January of 2017, and it will be found in phones from other competitors, such as Samsung, HTC, and quite possibly Google's next Pixel. I understand that this argument is merely based on the concept of competition and staying in the race of top-tier smartphones of the year. When this processor was top of the class last year, it showed impressive marks on the scales. But when you need to stay future-proof with your top-of-the-line smartphone series, the processor could be the determining factor as to who pulls ahead. During my use of the G6, I only noticed hiccups when playing graphic-intense games such as this one. In just a moment, you're going to see the game stutter, and this is partly due to the Snapdragon 821. There you go. Did you see it? It happened quite often in games just like this one. The 4 GB of RAM have no problem keeping up with my daily activity. Apps remained open in the background, they picked up where I left off, and they never had to be force closed or reloaded. This unit has 32 GB of internal storage, but there is a 64 GB version as well. And if that's not enough, you can use a micro SD card to add another 256 GB. I really enjoyed that the G6 is IP68 rating, which means it is dustproof and waterproof, certified to be dunked as deep as 4 feet for as long as 30 minutes. First deployed in October 2016, Android 7.0 Nougat is the base of LG's operating system in the G6. Admittedly, I've never been the biggest fan of the custom tweaks that LG puts on their flavor of Android. The icon set has always appeared silly and cartoony. The settings are grouped and hidden away so well that it's almost mandatory that you have to use the search option. If only they kept a little resemblance of stock Android, the settings would be much easier to navigate. One of their most recent changes is to force a white background on any icon that isn't already square. Google has several of these. This removes all visual uniqueness intended by the developers. Yes, this change does make it look more uniform, but no, just no. Starting with the LG G5, they removed the iconic app drawer, a feature that is a major keystone to set Android apart from iOS on the iPhone. And there was an uproar that they could not ignore. Because of it, they pushed an update that allowed you to download a replacement launcher from their app store, mind you, that still has an app drawer. And with each phone after that, it's been a built-in option. The stock app drawer allows you to tuck away any of the infrequently used apps and keep your home screen clean and clutter-free of those pesky, unwanted system apps or games that you don't want that came with the phone anyway. I can't understand why LG has decided that the app drawer is a black sheep. Why must we be forced to clutter app icons into folders that take up more room than necessary? To end the software tour on a high note, I'm delighted to say that the LG G6 on Verizon received each monthly security update, and I believe that is something that will continue well into the first year of support. LG has put last year's G5 disaster behind them and came back this year fully loaded with a great looking device. Very sleek and stylish, minimal bezel, and a beautiful LCD display. Pictures are a bit slow, but they do come out looking great. If you like this video and you're interested to see more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and sign up for notifications. You can always find us by visiting AndroidAnthem.com, where we have reviews and advice for everyday people from an everyday tech geek.